Few people have touched the life of Rambo. Even maybe fewer ladies. So today being Valentine's Day, we thought it just proper to drop a few names and talk about our Valentine choice. So there's been Sarah from Rambo 2008, Rambo self-titled, aka Rambo 4. There's been the Saigon hooker from the outtakes, deleted scenes of First Blood in the Saigon flashback scene. As well, there was even a female French nurse in her 40s, I believed, who was cut out of Rambo 3. And she was replaced by some guy very briefly in the movie when Musa, I think it's Musa, his name, is saying that, this is the only doctor for 50 kilometers or something like that when Rambo's walking into the medic center, the Rebel Alliance base. So even though we touched, briefly on the Saigon Lady of the Night in the past, in the 3-hour Director's Cut episode in Season 1, we'll be talking about these other ladies in future episodes of future seasons. However, I do believe the person who has touched Rambo's heart the most is none other than leader of the pack, would have to be Co Bao from Rambo First Blood Part 2. Now, seeing how this season deals with that movie in particular, it only seems fit to discuss Co. And as well, Co seems fit to be our Valentine choice for Valentine 2014. Because she, in my opinion, I believe, tugged the most heartstrings. Sarah and the nurse were not exactly romantic interests, though, possibly Sarah could have been, in the other light. I mean, like at the end, how Michael, his views have totally changed at the end of Rambo 4, because he actually is forced with that situation, live or die, and God's not going to help him, unfortunately. God works, I believe, through people. So Michael goes through that revelation of having to kill, and I could see him returning to the world, or returning to America really messed up with post-traumatic stress disorder after PTSD and all that other stuff. And maybe it would be hard for Sarah to accept that, or to live with that. Maybe it would break up their marriage. Maybe or maybe Sarah's views would change, or etc., etc. There's a million ways it could play out. And maybe Sarah, now seeing Rambo return to Arizona, would come looking for him for solace or comfort, or to try to understand things. There might be more of an attraction to them. Yeah, that would be an interesting piece for Rambo 5. Anyway, and even at one point there could not have even been a Sarah. One of the multiple original ideas for Rambo 4 was the Straw Dogs inspired Homefront, starring Jason Statham, which we'll get to in the future. Which would have seen Rambo with a daughter grieving the loss of a wife. You know, I am happy that they went for the latter. You know, like Rambo still wandering the world and trying to find his place. I like how I think we got a much more powerful Rambo in 2008 because they decided to go with the whole Burma crisis and the literal man fighting the demon scenario. You know, and we'll get to that too. And going back briefly to the Saigon gal, you know, that was just a one-night stand, right? That wasn't really any big romantic play on that. So, anyway. Now, for those of you who have not seen Rambo First Blood Part 2, the amazing sequel that shocked the world, I won't give away too many spoilers regarding Co, but we'll be learning a lot more about her this season. So if you've seen Rambo 2, then you know much about her, but if you've only seen that movie, then I just gotta say, there's more to her than meets the eye. There's a lot more. And for the moment, though, you know, let's just take a minute to look at the star behind the bow. Or the bow, I should say. Now, the wonderful and talented actress who played Co Bao in Rambo 2 was none other than Julia Nickson, or now known as Julia Nickson-Soul. And she came into the world on September 11th, 1958 in Singapore, and would later become a model in Honolulu while attending university in Hawaii. University, sorry. I got a bit of a cold today. So, we've seen her in great performances, you know, throughout the years. From early Shakespeare plays to starring on Magnum P.I., I think cameo on Magnum P.I., where then she got her big break. She's been in Airwolf, Crime Story, Noble House, Star Trek, The Next Generation, and Deep Space Nine. She's been in Glitch, Around the World in 80 Days, Silver Fox, Sidekicks, even Genghis Khan, Kung Fu, Amityville, Double Dragon, Babylon 5, Sequest, Texas Walker, Ranger, you know, Jag, Nash Bridges, Power Rangers, Days of Our Lives. She had a really brilliant yet complicated performance in Half-Life. You gotta see that movie. It's great. You'll fall in love with her in that movie. You know, the list goes on and on. You know, she's just a wonderful actress who's worked alongside everyone from Chuck Norris to Charlton Heston, and eventually even the man himself, Sly Stallone. So she has quite the resume indeed. You know, with her first movie being the mega global blockbuster cult hit Rambo First Blood Part 2. So I don't have to tell you, for, you know, many of you already know I'm a fan. And I just wanted to wish a very special Valentine's Day to Mrs. Julia Nickson-Soul. You know, for giving us and giving Rambo more humanity, the realization that he's not expendable, and the will to live, as well as, you know, the transcending spirit which he eventually passes on screen, and to us all watching and, you know, loving that time in the 80s and growing up and learning more about, you know, the harsh situations in Vietnam and the lies, and, you know, coming to grips with the past and just really putting our eyes on the situation and learning and forgiving, you know, the atrocities of what happened. So, to learn more about Julia Nickson-Soul's Co, or at that time, Julia Nickson's Co, stick around, because we're going to explore the many angles of her character, going far beyond what we saw in Rambo First Blood Part 2. Co's story is that of legend, because, you know, there was a lot left out that didn't make it to Rambo 2. And, you know, let me just say, it's incredible. It's really interesting, and you're going to love it, and I can't wait to share it with you. And we're going to get to it very soon. So, thank you, Julia, for being, you know, Rambo's lifelong Valentine. And I'm sure he's thinking about you every year, and especially today. So, you'll never be expendable to all of us here at RAMBOMANIA. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. For RAMBOMANIA would just not be the same without you, and, you know, we're wishing everyone just a, you know, a very happy and beautiful Valentine's Day, and we love you all, so take care.
How did we get into this?
It's a long story.
Long ride.
Well, after I left the Special Forces, I moved around a lot.
Why did you leave Army?
I came back to the States and found there was another war going on.
What war?
Kind of like a quiet war. War against all the soldiers in training. It's the kind of war you don't win. It's my problem. How about you? How'd you get into it?
My father worked for an intelligence agency. He killed and I take his place. There's too much death here. Death everywhere. Just want to live, Rambo. Maybe go America. Live the quiet life. What do you want?
To win. To survive.
Not so easy to survive. Still war here.
Survive a war. You gotta become war.
Is that why they pick you? Because you like to fight?
I'm expendable.
Expendable. What mean expendable?
It's like someone invites you to a party and you don't show up. It doesn't really matter. What is this?
It bring me good luck. What bring you good luck?
I guess this